Dean, something happened this past week that I actually don't think may have ever happened as long as we've been friends.
What?
I had to say an apology to somebody, Dean,
Oh,
because I made a mistake. And you know I don't apologize ever.
Even
the
when
first
you're
time?
wrong, you don't apologize.
Oh yeah, of course. That's when you're wrong is when you double down even better, even
Yeah.
more.
Every-
Classic Latin behavior. Just double down on it.
And the worst part is, Dean, when you apologize to someone and they leave you on red. That's the worst part.
What happened? Give me the cheese man.
Ben, you fucking son of a bitch. Okay, so there's a thing. I think he may be frozen. I don't know if he can even defend himself now. There's a thing on Facebook or Instagram. I'm not good at social media. In fact, I asked Marco to make the Instagram post so that I can just hit like one button to like share it because I just can't be. I don't know how to do these things.
Weaponized incompetence is what it's called, but we'll
Thank
get
you.
into that later.
Thank you. And Ben, sweet guy, tagged me and 10 other profiles of like content creators you love or whatever, like something like that.
Okay, I got that too.
Yeah, and I was like, look at this, look at Ben. Look at Ben. And then another guy tagged me too. I actually don't remember, to be honest, because it kind of fizzles. It goes away after like a few days.
It's weird that you said a guy tagged you. That's all I heard.
And
kinda
Ben, go swallow those nuts, my guy. Look at this. We got a new member, Fat Batman Collect Nightmare. Anyways,
Hey. Welcome, Fat Man.
I was like, I'm going to make a post and I'm going to tag these guys also. But then I'm thinking like, well, I get tagged in these things a lot. Like, I just never knew how to do them. And so I was like, I'm going to mess around with it for a few minutes. And I tagged a bunch of people, but then the formatting was weird and it really bothered me. And so I deleted all the names and started over. Long story short, by the time I figured it out, I left Ben out. I felt horrible. And it wasn't until like 6 hours later I noticed I left Ben out. So I'm going through Instagram, I'm like, oh shit, I left Ben out. Let me make a second post. I'm going to redo the post with Ben. And I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any offense by it. 'Cause I'm trying to be a nice guy. You know what Ben does? He leaves me on red, Dean. Leaves me on red. One of my first apologies in about 10 years. Leaves me on red. Yes, you
I never saw it.
Look at your Facebook messages, you fucking liar.
Pull the John from Queen Studios
What?
and just ghosted you. You hate to see
Dude,
it.
he's like, I'm
You
going to
hate
check
to-
the Viper and dip the fuck out. So, long story short, just don't apologize because it's not worth it. I felt horrible.
Oh.
It ruined my day because I felt like I slighted Ben and then he fucking
Bro, I
did me
didn't
right
even
back.
notice. I apologize.
Fucking God.
I sell in
Well,
pain.
now you got
I hate
him
to see it.
apologizing to you.
Yeah,
I know.
Wow.
Dude, this is
You got it right
perfect
where you
scenario.
wanted.
You should have just not responded.
Hey, sinker.
Does anybody
Gaslighting you, Ben.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the adult collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Joey, lock in the artillery power.
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Don't forget to use code CW10 during our live recordings for 10% off all in-stock items. That's code capital C, capital W10.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about the absolute fiasco, in the words of the comments, that broke the community. And boy, the level of... It was a riot. People were
Assault,
rioting
I
in the
would
streets.
say.
It was assault on all of our characters. Toy Mafia in the chat, Fat Batman's Collecting Nightmare, Jason Nelson, Two Country, The Ben Thomas Show, Absolute Irwin, Mr. Mom Collectibles, and we got our brand new member, Fat Batman's Collecting. I'll update you for the next show. 12-inch Moose Dream, Thor Gaming, Dr. Equan, Pablo Meza, PT Works, TK592, Badfish, Archangel, Yomo, Doc Smizzle. How can I be sure this is actually live? Lane, The Legend, Kramer, David Jones, Doc Smizzle. And look at this. The boxes sound like Dean, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, Fiasco is nicely putting it, and Ninja Squirrel. Dean, we have a very special segment that we kick off all the best shows with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I have a ton of news this week. Almost too much. You can't even, if I shift, you can't even see me. Damn. I talked about last week on the cold open. I got 2 of the SYY Toys ring wraiths. I just got home with these. I haven't even opened them up yet.
So you don't know if they're shattered to bits like the
I'm
other
going to do it right now while we're talking to see what it looks like. But yeah,
amazing.
There's 1 and then 2. So I got 2 of those guys. And I couldn't really get those without comparing it to a real one. So this is the new, or I guess it's a reissue of the Nazgul from Asmus. Their best head sculpt by far.
Because there is none.
yeah. So I'm going to check that out a little bit later as well. And then the last hero from Virtual Toys. This is Zach Fair from Final Fantasy 7.
Wow.
Not the best Zach. The Game Toys came out and it again knocks this one out of the fucking park. But I had this on order. It comes with a really cool diorama stand and a little chocobo. I have the chocobo out right here.
What do you have at? Your chocobo?
What are you choking on?
Yeah, it's a little bird creature in the Final Fantasy games. You use them as like horses, but they're giant birds.
Cool.
They look like chickens. But yeah, so that is my new this week. I picked them all up today from Rick. It was very expensive.
TK says, Dean looks happier than a kid on Christmas morning. I think you mean Hanukkah, my friend.
Whoa.
Very cool. Archangel wants to know, are you going to do an unboxing for the podcast?
Probably not, just because it's like a week away, but I guess maybe I could. I'll talk to John about it, see what's going on.
Yeah, hate to see it. Ben, you got some cool stuff this week.
Yeah, so I was able to talk Shauna into going and seeing Black Adam with me on Saturday night. I convinced her with some buttery popcorn, which is always it's the trick, right? You know, get to the stomach, goes the way to go, right? So, but
why'd you talk about food like that? Jesus Christ.
You loved it. Don't even lie.
Where else does the food go?
You don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about
Jesus Christ.
You know what? It was a decent movie. I won't review it right this second, but I liked it more than I expected. But it was about as bad as I expected as well. It was like a 7 out of 10 for me. I went. We just enjoyed some buttery popcorn, watched a movie, and of course on the way in, as is tradition, they had the little figure stand at the front. So I snatched this guy, which was really cool. I'm excited with him. I haven't even unboxed him yet. He's still just sitting here on the shelf. So. And then did you put up the next one, Zach, as well?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I also what came in the mail on Monday was my Blockbuster shirt, as well as my Collecting Weekly Live shirt, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah, baby.
I literally pulled them out of the package, laid them on the table, and took the photo. So they look more ironed already, I promise.
There you go.
But then I also got my Ben Thomas show shirt on Friday last week, and I got this one for the channel for today. So I figured it's going to be a tough discussion, so you need to rock the right shirt. All I'm saying.
Oh, tough nuts for tough discussions. You'll love to see it.
Great shirt.
I think these two right here were dashing. I think they're dashing. I think you're going to look fantastic in these. Marco got so many compliments on his Blockbuster shirt at the Riverwalk. It was truly a sight to behold.
I will say normally I'm an extra large, and these are extra larges, but they do fit a little bit slim in the midsection. So if you're a bit rounder of a boy, I would still recommend at least a double XL, just to make sure they fit.
There you go.
Or girl,
Congratulations. Well, congratulations on that. I picked up the Hasbro Black Series Umbra Arc Operative. This is from the Gaming Greats Battlefront 2 line. And I've been trying to get this figure for months. And finally, GameStop got their heads out of their asses and put a second batch up for pre-order. I ended up doing it on the website and had it shipped to my house. And it is incredible. It actually may be... I have like 20 or 30 clones, and I think it may be one of my favorites. The articulation is fairly standard for the rest of the clones that I have, but just the crispness of the paintwork, the level of detail it's a really great figure.
Does the helmet come off?
It does not.
Okay,
it does not. Yeah,
I have mine on pre-order somewhere, but they haven't called. So
yeah, it also only comes with the pistols. It doesn't come with the short DC-17 or the long one. So,
that's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get
3D printed any weapons at all in this scale.
I should do that.
You really should.
Okay, the thing is, I have like 50 of the long rifles and like 50 of the short rifles, so I don't need to. But that's a pretty good idea. I've actually haven't done that yet.
Yeah, now that I've seen you just carry these motherfuckers in your car like it's nothing. Like you just got them strewn about.
Well, I was taking them to Stevens to put on consignment, and then I just forgot that weekend. I totally forgot. And
okay, can confirm. This thing is...
That looks like dog shit.
There's bits flying around.
Packing peanuts? Come on.
Bro, they got
to do better.
How the hell do you got foam and packing peanuts? Is that
Hot Toys Innovation?
It's not Hot Toys.
Looks like the Inart Joker.
This is an unboxing? I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, boy. And I want to remind my boys that tonight we're going back to the hot seat. No more trivia. No more need to complain. I did tone down this month's questions just a touch. And during the show, John will have his 1 minute of question time and also 1 minute of uninterrupted air time. Well, I'll mute and let John speak the word of the gospel.
It doesn't have to be that serious. Jesus.
Wow.
Stressing me out.
The gospel according to John. Now, we touched on this last week. I thought this was a real gimmicky thing. And we're about to go into story time here. So Sideshow sent out this marketing thing. Sign up on the RSVP today for a chance to order this figure soon, which is way too many words to basically say just sign up to order this figure. You get a special bonus for those that RSVP, only 300 available. Now, I woke up Wednesday after the show, and one of the Sideshow representatives have said, well, it's actually only a 300 quantity of the special bonus, but we're going to have more stock of the figure. Which Marco had said last week, and I thought that was a weird take on like reading this. But I was like, hey, look, Marco's right. Good for you.
It's a few hours ambiguous with this. Yeah. Too many words, right?
So pragmatic. So a few hours later, Sideshow, one of their admins on their Facebook group, confirmed like, hey, that guy misspoke. It is actually legitimately only 300 items, though anyone that does RSVP will get a special bonus. We come to find out that special bonus is a $20 coupon that can be used on select figures. I believe that were in stock on Sideshow, which is a weird thing. I thought it was going to be a special accessory or, a discount on this actual figure. You could, in fact, not use that discount on this figure, which is kind of weird.
I think it ended up being 30% off instead of $20 as previously reported.
Oh, was it really?
It was 30% off, yeah.
Okay, so I thought that was the discount they gave if you didn't get it, because everyone was complaining.
That's a good call. I haven't actually seen.
I think you might be incorrect there. So we're putting the cart before the horse here. It went live. Now, if you don't do email marketing, we don't do it for CW, but I've done it before for other businesses that I've been a part of. When a company sends out an email, if you get the email, that doesn't mean that every single person on that list gets it as soon as it hits send, right? Depending on the email list, it could take 15 minutes. It could take an hour. We have Sticker Mule coupons that we have through 2 different accounts, and they'll be like hours apart, like 2 or 3 hours. So people immediately, of course, go to the website, and in typical 2022 website ordering, it bricked the site. People were able to try to add them to their carts. The website was failing. Eventually, the website actually just went down completely. And it was a fucking fiasco. People were saying, my day is ruined. How could you do this on Halloween? Which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's 12 o'clock p.m. on Halloween. The sun's still up. I mean, what are you doing on Halloween day that's that important? If it was Christmas Day, I get it. People
Drunk on
freaked
chocolate.
the fuck out. Now, after this fiasco, now I think the chat here has backed me up here. The 30% was given to everyone. I got the figure and the 30%. Thought it was given as a sorry we fucked up. But I think Baptist here says he got the $20 off, which we confirmed in that post, Marco. And then 30% was like kind of like a secondary after the fact. Now, again, a lot of people were really upset about this. I really wish I actually had the thought to make a compilation of the Butthurt post, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't have time to do it. But boy, I think this figure looks okay. But for $320, no rewards,
ridiculous.
no discounts, insane. And the thing is, like, you know, you're RSVPing for this figure. You have to buy it like that day, right? And then you're spending $320, and then you get a coupon that you can't use on this figure that you then have to buy another, you know, $200 figure to get the $20 off. It goes to what Ben was saying last week, right? Like they kind of like lure you in with a discount, but then you're buying a second figure. It was fucking crazy. People were really upset.
Upset about what?
About the website crashing. About the website crashing. They thought it was going to be like a
They thought they were going to get. They thought they were going to get
waltz right
online.
in. Exactly.
Oh, I can order. No, welcome to collecting.
Now let me tell you this, John. I do not think that our hobby, specifically the collectors in our hobby, are ready for truly exclusive and truly limited products.
But why is that, Zach?
People were freaking because it doesn't happen. This is out of
exactly.
nowhere.
Because people are not used to this.
People were like, I mean, the messages that I mean, you would have thought they like murdered someone's family member. Like they were so hurt, so offended.
There's only three. We live in a world.
fiasco.
We live in a world with 7 billion people. Okay, there's only 300. What did you think you were gonna do? Wake up in the
sideshow. We don't know if it's a global 300, but 300 for a
Okay.
big chunk of that 7-8 billion people.
But what did you think? You were gonna wake up in the morning, put your coffee on, and just straddle right onto your computer, and one was gonna be waiting for you? No, it's exclusive. Yeah. It's exclusive. Welcome to collecting. This is what I've been talking about since day one. Yeah. This is it.
Zach, should I save my thoughts for the process until later on, like maybe the hot seat, or should I chime in after Dean? Just in terms of the website, like for someone trying to get it, and someone who spent a few hours on it, should I?
Are you trying to prepare for your hot seat segment?
Wow, are you trying to meta the hot seat, bro? How dare you?
I'm just trying to hold it back.
I'm just okay. So were you trying to get the figure? I'll interrupt if we're going like into that territory. I do have questions for all of you.
Damn you, week one.
So Marco, what were you trying? Well, was anyone on the panel rather trying to get this figure?
Of course not. Who's paying $320 for this cap?
Yeah. After Dean goes with his point, let me share my experience with trying to get the figure.
Let Dean unbox. He doesn't.
I was just gonna.
He's not even paying. Before the show, I was like, "Hey, everyone, dial in." And Dean's over there dealing with packing peanuts on the fucking desk.
This thing is
bro, I'm
damn near unusable.
Dean, we're going early CW. Sorry, I'm gonna hit you with that focus.
How dare you? So I feel like at least in 6 scale, we've never had, to my knowledge, a real exclusive where if you're not there right when it goes live, you're probably not going to get it. I mean, we've done it live on the show where I'll wait until 4 a.m. to pre-order something on the other side of the planet, and the second the clock strikes, 4 a.m., it's sold out. I can't even load the page fast enough to order said product. And that happens in a lot of collecting communities. Mezco, that one specifically I'm talking about was the Bandai Chigokin. There's plenty of collecting communities where if you're not ordering it right the second it goes live, you're not going to get it. And that never really happens with 6 scale, to my recollection. If I'm wrong, chime in. Statues, another good one. If you don't order them right when they go live, sometimes you're shit out of luck. So for this, I think it was a very rude wake-up call, and people were like, "How dare you?" It's like, but that's collecting. That's the game, right? That's why you're paying top dollar for some of this stuff. So like to me, it was just kind of like John said, welcome to the rest of the world that everybody else is living in.
Sneakers, like TK said, for example, is a
yeah, dude, fucking Supreme, anything by Supreme.
Yeah.
Let me bring in this timer because that's a perfect segue. Dean, if you could do me a favor, check private chat for me, please.
Yeah.
So Marco, as a listener of your show, you often talk about how you used to purchase sneakers, and I would assume, you would go through like the Nike sneaker drops, like the Jordan sneaker drops, at least just from a casual listen. What advice would you have for Sideshow, being someone that's been a collector of like these really like uber collectible items, and how they can improve this going forward?
Absolutely. So I will say, yeah, I've gone after exclusive things kind of, throughout my entire life, like going after exclusive shoes, going after PS5s, concert tickets. So yeah, like I'm used to, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, right? So you've got to go in as a consumer kind of with that mindset that, like John said, there's only 300. There's a ton of people on this planet. We're not all special. Not everyone's going to get one. I would say, like Nike's got it really dialed in, but people still get upset by this, but they've got the app, which makes it like way more streamlined. You could have all your information kind of input already. And then for the really, really exclusive stuff, they do a raffle system. So it's a tough system as well, because, you'll feel like you missed out, but at least you don't waste 2 hours like I did and others did trying to secure shoes. You can kind of have it queued up and you'll know, they'll alert you if you got it. And then for larger releases, you just hit one button, you can purchase it or not purchase it if it sells out.
So let's expand a bit on that raffle system. So you do it and you can just walk away. You get an email if you got it or you didn't. Because I think, apparently according to the comments, I think the thing that most people were upset about was the hours spent refreshing, adding to the cart. I know a few of our people here use which I don't understand what LEO is. What is that? LEOs are straight raffles linked to a credit card. Is the fair way.
Legos?
There you go.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah, so I think that would certainly improve the experience. I think maybe that people would be less upset if they didn't waste 2 hours, supposedly on a very important holiday. John, do you want to see this more going forward? This limited type thing. It's something you've been talking about for quite a while.
I'm not saying do it with everything, but hell yeah, they should do it. Damn right. And I want them to see not only with figures, but I want to see with statues, right? Low ESs, an exclusive. You got to be there on time. It has to work out. The cards have to be in your favor for you to get it, and that's it. You didn't get it. Well, it's just too bad. That's how it works. I didn't end up getting one. You miss out. In my opinion. I would have liked to see this is where this is iffy. Is now we're talking about the rest of the world getting them. Now, is this going to be some baloney where, like Inart did, with the window reopening, and they're going to somehow sneak in some more? I really hope not.
I won't be shocked, John, if they do.
I would be so disappointed. Because at the end of the day, there's a wait list going on now with Sideshow. So, I don't know. That seems a little iffy. But to really put the cherry on the cake, they could have taken this opportunity to literally did Sideshow exclusive and have it numbered 1 of 300, 2 of 300. So that this way... Sideshow got the 300. Here's this exclusive 300 numbered figures. Numbered figured, and that's it. Right? I think that would have been a cool thing to do and add it to it. Nonetheless, I would have liked to see it on a new release, not a reissue or re-release, whatever you want to consider this. $320 for this figure is way too much. In my opinion, way too much,
and no discounts and no rewards. You're getting like straight piped on that $320 plus tax and shipping.
I do think he'll go up in value because of this exclusivity. Because again, this is a movement, a step back for this community. There's a lot of new collectors in this community from when Hot Toys used to sell out. So I think this is a shock, and that's why you got that backlash towards Sideshow. But we need more of this. It's healthy. It's healthy for the collecting community.
Yeah, John, I'm not opposed to having exclusive. Honestly, it's kind of cool that there is a really rare figure. We haven't had the Churro Spider-Man release yet. We don't know if there's going to be another version without the Churro and other accessories, but that'd be another cool one if it stayed pretty limited. Again, I think that the biggest issue, and definitely the one that I was frustrated with, is that I did spend, about 2+ hours. Had my phone on the computer and getting to the checkout page and then it crashing. So they were obviously prepared because they did an RSVP system. So they had some infrastructure in place, but that was definitely a hiccup. A really good system would not even allow you to get to the cart. It happens with other stuff, but I think I was in the cart either via Apple Pay or on Sideshow's website at least 20+ times, hit place order, it crashes. And so I think that's kind of a frustrating, hiccup throughout all this. Again, I went in prepared, you might get it, you might not. And the fact that it is a reissue kind of makes it a bit more palatable for me because it's not a must-have figure. If it was one that I was just dying to have, I would be pretty frustrated that I spent 2+ hours and came away with nothing. Opposed to, you hit a button, they let you know whether you got it or not. That could be a bit more streamlined. But yeah, overall, I think more exclusives moving forward could be kind of cool.
Interesting. Marco, what's your reasoning, I guess, for pulling the trigger if it's not a needed figure in your collection? Is it just because it might be limited and have value?
I actually liked it before I knew that it was going to be limited, and we'll see. Time will tell, right, whether they 100%. Keep it at the 300. But I just thought it was a really cool version of Cap. I really love Winter Soldier, the fact that it's Endgame, the fact that it has this special gauntlet. I thought it was a really neat release to begin with, but not one that I thought would be must-have, and definitely at 320 without any discounts was a tough nut to swallow. But I still was prepared to swallow that nut.
I think it's crazy to me that the end game Cap was cheaper than this, and in my opinion, it comes with more stuff. The value for the dollar,
you could get it for $200.
Yeah, I don't even think they've changed the head sculpt. I'm pretty confident it's the same one.
Same
there's a lot of reuse here.
It's not even screen accurate, right? Because he's got the long hair at the beginning of Endgame.
Exactly. I agree with John on this one. I think that the best thing they could have done is make this a numbered release to make it even close to worthy of the price tag, because otherwise I don't like what it does to this community. I get it that that is collecting in a nutshell, and that is what we kind of want to go back to. And if exclusivity drives values of our collections back up, I'll be really happy with that as a win as a collector of things that I already have. But then on the other hand, I have been conditioned and gotten used to being able to take some time and digest a purchase and make justification for why I want to spend the money in those things. And I don't want to start feeling like FOMO beats out my actual desire to have a possession in my collection, because that's when I think that collecting as a hobby can get really exhausting, because you start spending money that you didn't necessarily you may not have actually cared to spend to begin with, and you're just spending it to get it in your collection for what? Because you wanted the value. It puts a bad taste in my mouth if they're not going to create some level of exclusivity beyond saying that it's, in quotations, exclusive. Because as you said, John and Marco, if they do come out with we've got more figures now, it comes with one less accessory, but it's otherwise the same thing, or whatever. Come on, that shouldn't even be a question to us at this point, not at this price point. So
I already see it now. We heard your demand, and we're releasing
back,
more.
Baby.
You're. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were finished.
I was just gonna say, if they're not gonna number it, I think it should be available for everybody. Period.
Your points are good. The only thing is, as a collector, you're right. As a collector, it's good to be able to sit back, especially when you're getting multiple releases in such a quick manner. We came out of this and they dropped how many releases at once, and everyone's going crazy because now they got their pre-orders, and it's. But the issue is, for a business like Sideshow, I don't think it's sustainable to go the way they're going. Can we find one hot toy on Sideshow's site that's the original price without being so heavily discounted?
Miles Morales. Unfortunately, the one fucking figure that I want is regular price.
But what I'm trying to get at is, out of all the releases, that blurg is already discounted.
Well, we talked about it last week. There was figures that released the same day that were already discounted.
And it's not sustainable. I can't see Sideshow continuing like this. It's I don't understand how they can be discounting the figures so heavily, and meanwhile they're being discounted, but they're not even as selling off the shelf. Everything's pretty much still available. So I think Sideshow will take a step back and be like, well, we really need to change what we're doing because this isn't going to work long term.
But do you think like selling batches of 300? Sorry, I'll read. Lane Kramer says $2 super chat. Thanks, buddy. Let's talk more about Awesome Cap, Hot Toys Zombie Cap, which we should talk about. Do you think like I get what you're saying too in terms of it not being sustainable? Because if they have to keep putting this wide net out and then discounting things, like how is that sustainable? But then on the other hand, if they're doing these small batches of 300, people are not complaining about the price anymore because they're like, "Ooh, it's exclusive, so I'll pay it." But then they're only selling 300, maybe not like the trickle out of 3,000 that they might get. Like we talked about with margins last week. The margin, they're just reducing their margin. They're still making money on these bad boys either way.
But
so having that wider net selling more would still be in my mind's eye anyways.
But the way Hot Toys is producing and how things are coming out quickly, in the sense that releases are just releases. Selling 300 at 320 like this doesn't cost too much employee work.
That's true.
Warehouse space, storage, stuff like that.
Boom.
It's in.
That's true.
Literally comes in from Hot Toys to Sideshow, and from Sideshow straight out. They're not sitting on inventory.
Well, and they got a lot in the chamber. They got 144 or whatever ready, like
out
already, right? Like they're locked and loaded. Sorry, Marco, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just going to read this comment from my buddy Andrew Gibo here. Exclusivity wasn't an issue for me. I think it's awesome, and I was willing to fork up the money for one of my most wanted figures. And I desperately wanted him to have one. Him and Usby were like the people I'm like, man, if they get him. And so I think he took the L. Usby was able to get one.
Okay, good. Yeah, everybody was able to. Okay, good.
Yeah, let's move on here. Hot Toys, our lovable talking tree is going to steal your heart that you would not believe. Keep your eyes on the upcoming release of the Groot collectible figure inspired by the series I Am Groot. Very cool on that. Now this is neat. Blitzway's kind of cemented themselves as like the music company. The company's making like different musicians. They have teased a Kurt Cobain 1/6 scale action figure. And I want to say that when they last showed, when they showed their last figure, we kind of sat down and said like, who would you want to see? And I want to say at least one of us, I don't think, maybe it was myself, had wanted a Kurt Cobain. So this is really neat. Obviously, there's not much details here yet, but one of the most influential artists of when I was younger, and so. This is, I'm glad that a licensed company like Blitzway was able to do it. I think they've had some really great figures over the past few years. Yeah. And, I think it's someone that deserves to be brought into 1/6 scale figure form. And honestly, if the price is good, it may be something I have to consider, to be honest.
What other figures beyond the Ghostbusters has Blitzway done in recent memory? Because I'm kind of new to them as a company.
They did the Godfather figures, well, like they did two of them. It's like the Golden Years and the regular version.
The Ghostbusters.
Yep, they did the Jimi Hendrix.
Scarface
which, was really good. I believe that was older, but yeah, I think they've done a Scarface in the past.
Tony Montana.
Did they do the Ted and
Bill and Ted? Yeah, Bill and Ted did. No, those had body issues, so hopefully this one isn't seamless.
Don't we all have body issues?
Well,
truer words never spoken.
Fight Club as well, 160s.
Yes, very, very good figures there. So Blitzway is certainly not a company to sleep on, and really excited to see what.
And they're working heavily now, even on the statue side, with Prime One and making the portraits and so forth.
Yep, really quick, you had me shook, but the Godfather figures were damn toys.
No. I want to say Blitzway did one originally a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get clarity on. Thank you.
I wanted
double
check that, but I.
Damn, Zach, you gonna let him fucking call you out like that?
No, I think he actually.
No.
Let me see.
I think Blitzway did one.
Let me see. You know
long
what, Marco?
Time ago.
Hang on. John is right. I'm both right and then like wrong. They did not do the two versions. That was damn toys. No. That is my mistake. John is correct. Blitzway many years ago when they were doing the Scarface. They also did the Godfather. So
that was the first
correcting the record
toys,
there. Yeah,
it was in quarter.
Just to show you guys here, this is the damn toys Godfather. So that's my mistake. Let's get back here to these slides. See what people have to say. Yeah, they had the awesome original 1/6 scale figures. Interbay did the Godfather. That's my apologies. Now this is getting into releases. First off, I really have to commend Sideshow because, for all the shit that they do, I always try to give credit where credit's due. They've been bringing in these figures fast. I'm talking like people are getting them. S Beam got his Captain Carter yesterday. I think one day after release in Hong Kong. So that's probably about as fast as you'd get from Toys Wonderland. But they did release the Captain Carter. This is based off of the What If series. I don't think they've released the Hydra Stomper 2-pack, so this would just be the solo pack. I think the figure looks okay. I think the body build, I don't love it, but I think the portrait is really well done. It's that kind of cartoon styling. The hair's not going to look super fine. Again, it's based off of the original artwork. But I think for a figure, I think I was a little hard on this last night on Marco's stream. I went back and watched the some of the clips of the show. She's definitely a little, kind of more muscular than voluptuous. So I kind of like this. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I think the prototype probably looked a little better, but not like by like miles. It's not something I would own, but it's very cool. I do like it. Cool.
This is.
I was like, let's move on.
No, I was looking at the Godfather thing to make sure it wasn't a statue.
No, you're good.
I was. It looks like the show. It's a good representation of the show. Not for me. I don't like the way the shield came out. It gives me very like, Hasbro vibes. That photo on the right gives me Hasbro vibes. I don't know. Cartoony. It's supposed to be that way, I guess, but I don't know. It's not for me. What's it called? The Iron Stomper, right? I think it's gonna go well.
Hydra Stomper.
I think it's gonna go well. It's gonna accompany that very well when that comes out. But this is. I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, to me, there's some positives, right? I'm glad that they're trying something new with the animated style. I think that's pretty cool. It's priced fairly reasonable at $220, so at least like it's, a bit below a standard release because it's pretty stripped down. But I don't love the body. Like obviously on a few streams, I've shown what the actress looks like. Of course, she looks a bit different on screen, but she is very built. So yeah, don't necessarily love the body. It kind of screams Barbie doll to me. But I think overall there's a lot of redeeming qualities to this figure. But I think if Hot Toys was going to do something that's a little less realistic, which obviously they're known for, then I would love that price to be bumped down significantly more to kind of be a mid-range price, like a 170. I know that sounds unrealistic, but that would have made this a little bit more interesting to me overall. But yeah, some redeeming qualities, but overall just kind of a bland release in my opinion.
I wonder if they had a bit of a challenge with the body though, right? Because if they made a more jacked, like more hero framed female body, they'd probably have to go custom route, which means the cost of the figure would be higher. Alternatively, they could pad the uniform, but then you lose some of that articulation. So it's a bit of a tricky spot maybe to be in. I think for my recollection, just like when I think about the show, this definitely still nails it. I still think it looks fantastic. I agreed that it looks a little more on like the toyetic side than what I like to collect anyways. I like having the movie realistic versions. I would definitely be interested in seeing like a Haley Atwell Multiverse of Madness version of this character. I think that would be pretty cool in the collection. For me, this one won't be a pickup. If it ends up going down, though, in terms of bargain bin prices down the line, drop from the 220, maybe sub 200, I could consider it 100%, especially if I start building out an animated line with like Miles Morales or some of the other cool characters that are out there. So we'll see. This is definitely a wait and see. But if this doesn't drop in price, I think I'll, hold out, as I said, for that Multiverse of Madness version.
Let's make a correction here live because this is a show where we know what we're talking about, and when we don't, we admit it. It was not Blitzway did a statue of Godfather back in the day, quarter scale statue. The one that did the original to compete with Hot Toys was Enterbay, not Blitzway. It was Enterbay.
Look at that, correcting the record. You love to see it. In the words of a wise man, let's play the clip.
A man can only admit when he was wrong and ask forgiveness.
You'll love to
I'm
see
not
a
asking
correcting
for
director
forgiveness.
there. Well, I mean,
Credit to Clovis,
we were both wrong. I beg forgiveness from the Chad. Hot Toys
Oh, boy.
Iron Man Mark V. Now this was fast.
Yeah.
Like stupid fast.
Yeah.
In fact,
It's almost like
Mark-
they had some ready.
Exactly.
Yeah, Marco, can you double check when this went up for solicitation? Just find the first My Thoughts video on this. This is stupid fast. When you have figures that are late, you cannot push out a quick figure like this. I'm sorry, you cannot do that. If I was a customer that had, Batman Begins on
Loki.
pre-order, Loki on pre-order, and this shit happened, I would be fucking furious. I mean, I don't know how good this figure is. Obviously, we just had a few blogger photos. I don't think anyone's got a review of it yet, but boy, this came out before the Mark V armor up version, the suit up version, and that was teased like last year. I don't understand. I mean, if this is truly just the repackaged Mark V, and all they had to do is add the base and the little car thing, even then, that's crazy to me that this came out so quickly.
I've been watching Is It Cake a lot with Shauna.
Oh, yeah.
This
I
car
love Is It
behind,
Cake.
that could definitely be cake. I want to just say that right now.
Bro, that's some fondant on there, bro.
It's definitely fondant.
Real quick, we got 77 people watching live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Marco, do we have a date on this one by chance?
Still searching. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty insulting. This is literally, I mean, we just talked about this a few weeks ago. It hasn't even been months. It's literally only been weeks.
Let me go to the playlist here, see if we can find it.
This is insane.
September 8th is what I have.
Oh
when
my
this one goes
god.
in.
This is a month and a half almost. Jesus, that's, yeah.
So are we upset that they're releasing this so quickly? Meanwhile, people are waiting for others.
I'm not upset that a figure came out early.
Yeah.
Right. I'm upset that there's figures that are 3 years late.
That are sitting.
You know,
yeah.
like to me, like, even if it would have been a very small impact on production to produce this figure, I think for the optics, you don't do it, right? You just don't.
We were saying though that we weren't, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the figure didn't even necessarily look all that different from the previous iteration, anyways. Like,
we
did
thought
they
it may have been a
already
repackage.
Did they already have a stockpile of this in the back warehouse, and literally, like you guys said, just had to come up with the base and then put it out?
Yeah.
Like, a month turnaround time is like suspect. If allegedly they had them in the backyard there. Let's be honest.
I don't remember
it doesn't
on
make
the
any sense.
diecast, Marco. Maybe you know this. On the diecast Mark V, do these flaps open up on the front? Maybe I can double check that quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there's like minimal diecast on this one from what the reviews I've seen. I don't have this one in hand yet, but also, do we know where this sits in the market just yet too, right? It was supposed to be an exclusive for the Shanghai store opening, and we're not quite sure if it's going to land. Like, because what if they did this one 300 exclusives? That would be something that's interesting. If that was really the...
That would be interesting. I don't
We've
know,
also
to be
said
honest. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've also said before, too, that Iron Man are just definitely influxes of cash, right, for Hot Toys overall. And if they just do well either way, even if, like, North American collectors are, like, bored and kind of done with them. They pay the bills. So, we've suspected that they Hot Toys may need some injections of cash every once in a while. And again, if these guys were sitting in the back warehouse, it wouldn't take much.
From Iron Man 2, though, man, this thing's...
You're not wrong.
From Iron Man 2, wow.
Yeah, so I want to say this one did go up in solicitation on Sideshow. Maybe I'm wrong, but I
don't think this was the Shanghai exclusive. Wasn't that the whole uproar? Was this came after the Shanghai exclusive?
Let me verify this as well.
I'm not sure. I
don't know. Now I'm not seeing on their website, but I remember we compared the pricing on these from the Suda version.
I can't remember.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's move forward. The Swoop Bike Mando also went to Blogger Photos. So this should be coming out very soon. And, 3 releases, I guess, is good. But I think this should have been a Loki and these 2 other figures. I have no problem with Captain Carter and Swoop Bike Mando being released. But when you have a figure that was solicited less than 2 months ago, it's not a good look for me.
Yeah.
John, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Yeah, let's do that. Just give me one quick second, because I am.
A question about the Mando.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Is it going to be the new vacuum chrome Mando, or is this?
No, this is the swoop bike. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is the regular. No. Like this is the regular.
The Durasteel.
Durasteel, that's it.
No. This is Beskar. This is Beskar. But what Dean's asking is it that new chrome paint application? If you want to Google that, Dean, on Sideshow, I think this was not with that new paint application, if I recall correctly.
Which would kind of be insulting.
What? But now I'm losing track of time here in our discussions. Didn't the Beskar version come? Oh, I'm losing. So
yeah, there's just too many fucking.
There's
things
too much
coming
shit.
out.
I thought so. The Durasteel one was the original release they had.
Yeah, sorry, this is the Beskar.
But then they gave it with the blurg again, and now they're doing it with this.
No.
Now they're doing.
Now this is the Beskar.
Bike.
But the question is this the original Beskar that was like plastic looking, or the shiny?
It looks like it.
The chromed out. Yeah.
I don't think this is the chromed out one.
It doesn't look like the chrome.
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying this then.
Flatter.
Yeah, so it looks like the swoop bike at present is a 285. You could buy it separately. Let me double check if we can get it as a 2-pack. Guess we didn't do our homework today, boys. Yeah, I think it's just the 285. So this is the old Mando on the new swoop bike.
Kind of insulting.
You could buy the swoop bike by itself, I think, though, as well. No.
No, you can only buy it by itself. You can't buy it with the.
Oh.
Well, that's fine then.
Yeah, that's fine then. Okay.
They're just displaying it that way, I guess.
They fly out.
I thought they came in a pack together.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they displayed it that way at the Comic-Con stuff.
I've
I never
only
think
ever
it was
seen it
solicited
like this.
together.
Yeah. Okay.
John, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Yes, sir. We want to thank 16 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live using code capital C, capital W10. Choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you can leave the rest to them.
Bunch of sweet angels. Hit their link there in the comments. There was a bunch of memes, Dean, on the internet this week. This is adult action figure collector. Includes way too many toys, shirt with permanent con funk, storage unit filled with worthless junk, Instagram account with terrible toy photography, YouTube channel that never shows your face, Facebook rant about how toy companies are overcharging you, but you still buy the toys anyways, ramen noodles, and shitty handmade diorama. Not included gym membership, savings account, or deodorant. John, this one, I liked it a lot. The Gabagool, the meat ghost.
Yep.
Dean, check this out. So I thought, what better thing to do than make... Go ahead and unmute, Dean. What better thing to do than make CW costumes? So we got Zach, the Oxfather. Includes more audio and video equipment than the rest of the network combined. Generic dad hat and instructions on the perfect pre-show audio check. Dean 1650 Super not included.
Wow.
Dean the Dream Martin includes 1 megabit per second Wi-Fi, literally an arsenal worth of guns, and 5 unpaid pre-orders. I guess those are paid now.
Yeah.
Illegitimate child not included though, Dean.
Wow. Okay.
We got John. By the way, John, it was very difficult to find a.
How
It was
did you
so
get this?
difficult to find a photo of you.
This was from last Christmas.
John, do you know how hard it was to find a photo of you?
I don't post on social media, on my personal social
He
media.
doesn't.
anymore.
He doesn't. This is John, the Everyday Collector. Includes a 60-second timer, The Sopranos complete series Blu-ray, and 1 busted ass Adidas. Stepladder not included though.
That's amazing. I didn't even see that.
We got Marco 166 with the "We proudly offer a military discount" tag there on the box. There it includes
You've
more
gone
food,
too far there.
more food than a human being should ever consume in a 72-hour period. Cover letter for a fax to Cleveland and 3 refunded NRDs. Gigi and Pancake not included.
Amazing.
And last but not least, Ben Toughnut Thomas includes the X06 pre-order receipt, Timmy Hortons coffee, and a Ben Thomas Show t-shirt, copyright pending. Bed and fiance not included. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun today. Have a little bit of a laugh.
That was
in the
good.
spirit of Halloween.
That was good, dude.
Anyway, so Inart was at the Bangkok event. And boy... a lot of good, a lot of bad. I'm going to go on a Gandalf rant, be warned. But I'm going to cycle through some of these photos. If you guys want to stop at any of these, please let me know. We're starting off with the Joker This is the sculpted hair version. I think this and the rooted is their most polished piece at the moment. And so we're going to keep going here. This is the Batman rooted version. This is the unmasked portrait. I think that the photos that they put out for this event were much better than Las Vegas. At the same time, though, not having someone in a light box with these figures, like Justin had, I think doesn't help us very much, because I said this yesterday on Marco's show. It's like they're showing us this stuff, but I'm more concerned about the stuff that they're not showing us, right? Because these are very cropped photos from very specific angles, and I think that's a bit concerning. Here's another shot there of the Bruce Wayne. Like the Joker, I think this is one of their more polished pieces at the moment. Pennywise, I think this has really taken a step down for me. I think the way that the head connects to the neck is just really unsightly. I know Hot Toys typically does like that single piece head neck combination. You lose a little bit of articulation, but the look is much more seamless. I'm curious, does this bother any of you guys, the way that this connects, or is this like just a me thing?
Honestly, I hadn't noticed until you just said it.
Yeah, same here.
No, now I can't unsee it. I hate to see it.
I've been hearing ramblings yeah. I haven't heard anyone say anything necessarily bad about this. Pretty much just good things, but I see the aspect that you're coming from, and from the angle like that wouldn't be the best, but
yeah.
I think with the high collar, you'd probably be able to hide that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this angle is, yeah.
I don't
Once you
think
pointed that out, it looks not great.
I don't think these figures were futzed properly, I'll be honest.
Really?
That's true. I've seen really good-looking figures look like shit because they're not futzed properly.
I don't think these guys set these figures up with... I think everything has just been rushed. I think these shows have been rushed. Art, this is from the Comic-Con, or this is from the... You said this was from the Comic-Con, these photos, correct?
This is from the Thailand event, yes.
The Thailand event.
I don't know if they did it... I'm kind of confused, to be honest, because they marketed it as the Long Time No Soiree, like part 2.
Yeah.
But then...
what the fuck
there was
does
two.
that even
There was
mean?
two, Zach. So Art from the Statue World, he has a gallery, and he hosted Queen. And then afterwards, there was a Thailand Comic-Con there they were having.
I see, because Hot Toys went to one of those events, but there was a different event, is what you're saying.
It's a different than the gallery.
Okay.
The gallery was the Vegas show. It was just Inart and Queen.
I see.
Yeah.
Here, keep this going for a bit. This discussion, I need to add a few.
And shout out to Art, because I think it was really well done and well hosted. It completely blew the Vegas event out of the water.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize there were the two events. I saw the Thai Comic Con and Inart's kind of set up there. Okay, that makes a little more sense now.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain to me what Long Time No Soiree?
It's like if you haven't soireed in a long time, that's what.
That's it. It's not like supposed to mean.
It's like, bro, we soireed last weekend.
It's like if you want to say something and then you put it into Google Translate for a different audience. That's probably what you come up with.
How about the next show? Long Time No Chat.
Jesus Christ. So let me reload this here. I forgot a figure on this.
Fucking Queen guys go do a great show and then they disappear.
Here we go. Let's bring this back up here. Now, Aragorn was on display. Ooh. Now, remember, this one missed Vegas. It was either damaged or wasn't ready, but, bro, this is not Aragorn, son of Arathorn. This is...
He looks like he's been partying in Vegas. So
he looked like he got hit by a bus in Asadita, I'll tell you that much.
I tried to, but I can't. You can't even
this
defend
was
us.
Urukai.
Jesus.
I don't have a lot of good things to say about
even the tailoring. Is that?
I feel like I need to go back and look at the costume, but that satchel looks a bit off to me. I think I don't have as much problems with the tailoring or the base as I do just the portrait, and I think that's been the problem, right? Like Asmus, for all their faults, they make good outfits, right? The old Sideshow ones, the outfits are actually not terrible. The bodies suck and the sculpts aren't particularly great on some of their older figures. But I think where all these companies have missed, even Prime 1, they just released that one with Aragorn with the ghost statue, they all missed the portrait. And he's just got a very difficult portrait to capture in 1/6 scale form.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is particularly good. We saw a bunch of photos from the event, some videos in hand. It just did not look good. I think the outfit might be okay, to be honest. Like, there's a picture there of the bracers and the hand sculpts and some of the material work. I think that all looks fine and dandy, but I think for this figure, the benefit of going with an Inart or a Queen is that you're going to get something that actually looks like Viggo Mortensen, right? And I don't think now, if you put this into like a celebrity face analyzer, I don't think it would spit out Viggo Mortensen, to be honest. I don't think this is good. I really wish they would have not shown this, because
yes,
I feel like, and I do have questions for you guys about Inart for the hot seat, but I really genuinely feel like what Inart has shown us these past few weeks in some ways has validated a lot of the hype that they've put forward, and in a lot of other ways has really taken them quite a few steps back, because I'll get into it on the Gandalf, but I just think that their Lord of the Rings line is the weakest part of their collection at the moment. I think Pennywise, I think it does have problems, but I think overall, I think it will be a good figure. I think the Bruce Wayne and the Batman look fantastic. I think the Joker is the show-stopping figure. But I think the Lord of the Rings stuff, they got so much work that needs to be done on these, to be honest.
I think Marvelous really hit the nail on the head, saying I think they rushed the sculpt so they would have a piece to show. Quite disappointing, because Vegas, when we were watching that show, bantering back and forth that this was supposed to make an appearance and it was pulled. What was it? 2-3 weeks later. 2-3 weeks later, they're showing it. I think they should have just left it, worked on it, and then presented it. I know maybe they were kind of excited to maybe show the community because the community was up in arms, but I think business-wise, the smart thing here would have been to hold it back and perfect it before showing the community.
John, this is the exact same thing we were on them, or at least I was on them about the Gandalf. It's like, control the messaging, show us some high-quality shots of the figure when it's ready to show off. And if it's not good enough yet, then don't put it out there, because you're going to cause this very squirrely 1/6 community to panic. Like, control the messaging a lot better. We shouldn't be seeing this figure for the first time with, like, are these floor lamps that they've just pointed at it? Like, it's not ideal. It's not an ideal situation, so don't have a really good sense of if the sculpt is really that bad, but it certainly doesn't look great in these images.
160's Nuts says, did you see the rooted version? That was apparently Inart's. Wondering if you liked it more.
That was nice. That one was looked really good.
That photo, we've asked for clarification if that was actually their piece, and we have not gotten confirmation, so I don't feel comfortable showing it on air yet. We did see an Aragorn photo, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because with their Joker piece, the difference between the sculpt and the rooted is just the hair. It's not a totally different portrait. So I don't think that that's from Inart, to be honest, because it's totally different. It's much, much better. But we weren't able to verify that, so we felt like it wasn't appropriate for us to show it tonight. Now, let me get into this Gandalf rant for a bit, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop in. But they showed us these two photos of the Gandalf, and again, I think they look fantastic. I think from a sculpt perspective, purely of the hard material, not the rooted material, I think this is far and away the best Gandalf that has ever been produced in quarter scale, 6 scale, even some of the life-size Weta statues. I think this is better than all of them. I think where this starts to lose me is the details. The hat, I think, needs a lot of work. The outfit needs a tremendous amount of work. The quality of the materials that they've chosen for the traveling cloak, the length of the hair, the weave of the strap on his shoulder and his belt, the details in the outfit, the pants printing, the arm, the hand holes, the details on glambering. I think there's just so much that's missing now. Like Marco said, I think they really need to control the message here, because for $500, I don't think I'm going to be super satisfied if the only thing that comes out better than the current Asmus version is the portrait. Let me forward through some of these real quick. So this was the first photo that we got from the event. And this looks obviously just like they kind of got it out of the box. And but this is honestly one of the better photos that we've gotten, right? It's a clear, well-lit photo. It's not angled. There's not a lot of like weird lighting stuff going on. And I think this tells us quite a bit about this figure. Now, if you look here, this is another photo here from Justin's review. The robe, or his right above his pants and his shoes, if you look at the right photo, it should completely cover the pants and the shoes, right? That was the big thing with Inart. They said they couldn't see they couldn't see the pants in the movie, and so they didn't want to add this print. But the thing is, with their figure, they've made the robe so short, probably a good half inch shorter than it should be, that no matter how you pose it, even just standing straight up and down in a light box, you're going to see those pants, and it's going to just be an immediate eyesore. I've mentioned it last week, but I think the traveling cloak is much too thin. If you look at Gandalf on the right, it's a real heavy weighted cloak, and on the left here, it's just thin, dainty piece of fabric. The coloring, I think, is fantastic. But again, looking at the beard here, you can see how long Gandalf's beard really is. It's almost to his belly button when he's hunching down, but when he's standing straight upright, it should be right around between the top of the neck and the belly button. So I think that needs a lot of work. It just, to me, doesn't look particularly great. Looking at the staff here, or here's another shot of the robes, so you can just see how short those are.
Do you think that can be fixed with futzing, like pulling it down?
No. I don't think that there's anywhere on this body where it's bunched up that you would make up that big of a difference.
You could go back one?
I don't think so,
that
John.
different. No, back one more.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Keep going.
Like
see right above his hand on the... No, the other one? Oh, it's still short there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's short in all of these photos.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, Inart's showing us this photo here, and they're conveniently cropping out this shit down here.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Gandalf here, how tall his staff is, look at how tall the Inart staff is. It's fucking huge. In the movie, it really only goes to about the top of his forehead, and it is really, really tall in this photo. And it may be a perspective thing, but in all the photos that I've seen, and even in Justin's review, I think it still does look too tall. Gandalf's like 6'2", I think, and the staff should be around 5.5, 6 feet, like right on the dot. And this is a little bit taller than he is, so that's a bit concerning. And then you got things like this, like on Justin's review, this is the 4K footage. The sword, at least from my eyes, doesn't have the runes that are supposed to be there. They're supposed to be engraved into the sculpt. They've said that they would be there. This is supposedly a production sample, quote unquote. It's missing. The sapphire, which is painted blue in the prototype, is also not painted at all here. And I think just things like this, the hand wraps, they said you don't see them clearly in the movie, but in every scene, you can clearly see the hand wraps in shot. This is what they should look like. This is from The Hobbit, so don't come after me for this, but they should be able to pull the thumb through like Sideshow did 15 years ago, and like Asmus has done twice in the past. So I just think that there's too much stuff missing from this figure at the moment, where, if it came out like this, I would honestly kind of regret the purchase. I think the sculpt is great, but if the hair and the beard and the outfit and the staff and the sword and even like just the belt and everything else is inferior, it's not really going to feel like a great way to spend $500. Even the hat, I think Asmus on their sculpted hat, I think it's much better, to be honest. This looks terrible. And
better than
it's a shame
the
because
plastic one?
I think
No
the plastic
way.
one is excellent, John. I've owned all the 1/6 scale Gandalf hats,
Yeah.
and I think it's amazing.
So, Alvin, here, before I ask my question, I want to ask you a quick question.
Yes, let me get to two of these questions here. Let me get to...
That's
this
actually
one
my
here.
question was
Yeah.
what Mario was asking.
Okay, yeah, so the robe is short and the ends aren't curled and sewed. His robe doesn't have tatty ends, and it looks like they tore the material off and didn't finish it. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Mario, I do have this on pre-order, so I've paid probably 4 or 5 payments on it already. I do have this on order. We ordered it at the last minute,
The cutoff,
with the gamble that they would make these changes. And I want to point out, a lot of these details that I'm pointing out here are details that I sent them the day that they showed the prototype. Like, hey, just make sure these are there. Your number one competition, Asmus, has all these details on their figure. You guys should make sure they're on yours as well.
I think that's a really important clarification too, Zach, that other companies have done these details.
Yeah.
And so they got it. That's the baseline of what they need to do.
Yeah, so Alvin J says, is this still the Gandalf to get, especially when you factor in the price? Honestly, I'm going to say a hot take, but if this comes out looking like this, I'm still going to get it, but it's not going to be like a thrilling purchase for me. Obviously I hope it comes out looking like the prototype, but at the moment I'm content to display them both. And I think that if I was to make an ultimate Gandalf, it would probably have more parts from Asmus than Inart,
But
combining both of them.
That's where you lose me, is you're willing to throw that money at the figure and it not be the way you want it to be.
That is true. But the thing is, this is the one character where I would make that exception, right? I've always said it, like, even if this figure's terrible, with Vader, with Gandalf, I kind of just like to have all the parts to make the perfect Gandalf or the perfect Vader. It's a weird, like, thing that I do. It's not particularly healthy.
No, will you say, like, that figure, that Gandalf, the way we see it, regardless of what we get in the box, the way we get it, will you still say that's the definitive Gandalf?
If it comes out looking like today, what we see?
With the portrait and everything. The way the eyes are, the portrait, the rooted hair.
You're talking about if it came out, like, straight off of Taiwan to my house and, like, hey, this is what your $500 purchased.
Correct.
No, I wouldn't think so.
You would not say that's you would still.
No,
you would. Say,
I would still say the Asmus one was, because I think if you care about the character, right, you want all these small details to be there.
Okay.
And I think if it's missing, like, you know, the pants printing is huge, but I can live with it because you're not supposed to see it. But if literally you can't hide those pants because that robe is like an inch short or half an inch short, like that's a crazy deal breaker for me.
But you'd prefer the length of the robe over the portrait and the eyes.
I honestly think that. Well, first off, Asmus is redoing the portrait. They've said that they're going to send replacements. So, but not including that, of course. But yeah. I think I'm happy with my figure now. Marco's seen it. Dean's seen it. I think I'm happy with how I futzed it. I think the material and the length of the beard, right? Because he's a wizard. He's got a big fucking beard. The Inart just frankly doesn't have that, right? I mean, to me, that's one of his most defining features, right? The hand wraps, they're iconic. I think if it's missing that. If Glamdring, my favorite fantasy weapon, doesn't have the inscriptions and the sapphire painted, it's like, why am I spending, you know, why is this the Gandalf to get, right?
Well, and then I think at that point we cancel. That's how it should be.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll have to consider that. But the thing that bothers me, John, is I would imagine, like, and I've never made a figure. I'm not saying that I've never have any experience with this. But if I was a company and I was going into this market and making a Gandalf, the first thing I would do is buy every single 1/6 scale Gandalf and look at them, analyze them, and say, what can I do to make this better than what's come before? Because I think doing that, they would have right off the bat found out all these things that I'm trying to explain to them.
I appreciate like what you said completely. It's clear inaccuracies, and you're clearly a more of aficionado when it comes to Gandalf than I am. That's for sure. But I find it hard to say that, even if we don't talk about price, to say that the Asmus one is better than the Queen one, the Inart one. For me, like, I still watch the film. I can still say representation.
I would say what I want to do for the channel at some point is do like a checklist, right? Every part of the outfit and every part of the figure, and which is better, right? And I think, you know, I haven't done the mental math in my head, but I think overall, I think the Asmus would win just in terms of, you know, each little thing that it's done better. The portrait, I'm talking about just the plastic material and the eyes on the Inart are a million times better. You're not wrong. You are 100%. That's a fact.
I'd even say the way the hair looks. Not necessarily
not
the length.
Beard, but the hair. Yeah. The color is much better. But I think that there are just too many issues, in my opinion, and it's like, you know, I could settle for one thing, but when it's like 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, 6 things, and we're not getting these clear answers, it gets really concerning.
Yeah, of course. It's
Ty says, I appreciate these genuine, precise concerns. You've done a lot of research, and as a Lord of the Rings fan, you're 100% right. There's lots of work to do. Unfortunately, Jacob R., I think he's the painting guy, says Thailand isn't Taiwan. My bad. Marvelous says, the beard doesn't have the elegance or the majesty. It has beautiful symmetry, and the Inart is missing those elements a bit. I love this commenter. That's a wonderful comment there. Oilers says Gandalf aficionado. Love that. And Fad Gadget says Gandalf Gate. Like, the thing is, right, John, we had to push them through incredible public pressure for them to add the only other staff in the movie. That wouldn't have gotten done if it wasn't
they're
for
getting
us.
us to do the homework for free, and then we're not even paid with the respect of responses in a timely manner. Like, you just had an event. I've said it once, I'll say it again. John is a good guy. He comes on the streams. Sure, he doesn't answer all the questions, but he can't do it alone. He's taking on too much. And they're public, the way they've gone public and and wanting voices from the community, they're at a level where he can't do it all. You've come out and made yourself. You set that standard, so now you got to execute. You can't just go into hiding.
That's
whatever's
exactly
happening
right,
over
John.
there. Hire some team, get a group of streamers once a week to take questions from the community and go back to you. And don't be getting no pussyfoot streamers, because there's a lot of bullshit, favoritism and shit out there. No, you get people that fucking, sorry for swearing, that actually give a shit about the hobby and whatever. You know what I'm saying? That give a shit. Not
Sorry
no
for
fucking
swearing, give a shit.
favoritism and stuff. I know. I'm sorry. That's.
It's okay.
It's good. You want
to take your 1 minute now or later, John?
So, couple things.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
I got to get it out of my system. So, for the Aragorn.
Yes.
Wow, we're really backtracking.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to.
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
You're good.
Quick couple of things. The Aragorn. So
yeah, we'll be fluid here. We'll go back and forth between all these.
It's obvious that like there were some challenges, right? I think that they recognized this figure wasn't quite ready yet. They didn't want to say it was ready, so they said things like it was damaged in transit and blah blah blah. For one, like what does that say about the Inart packaging if it gets damaged in transit? What does that say for when the collectors actually start getting it in hand? But I don't think it was that. I think that they clearly recognized that it wasn't ready. I think the problem that we may be actually uncovering here is that it seems to me anyways that Inart is biting off a little bit more than they can actually chew. Some of these details, as well researched as Zach obviously is clearly one of his favorite characters of absolute all time, so you should know the character in and out 100%. There should be no reason that even a quick Google search uncovers like basically everything that you've picked apart on this figure. You shouldn't even need to buy the other figures to know.
I told them the museum that owns the costume. I was like, bro, you guys need to get your hands on it. This is where you need to go.
It doesn't take much to satisfy that. And I think when I say I feel like they're biting off a bit more than they can chew, I wonder if that's one of the reasons that we're starting to kind of miss on some of these details. It's like they're trying to unseat the Hot Toys King of the Throne, King of the 1/6 figure line, by giving us a decent selection of figures, but all of them seem to be varying in quality, so it's making us still question as to whether they're a good investment or not. I think they would have had a better and stronger approach if they'd done like one figure or maybe two. Get those in people's hands first, right? Create the hype. Look how good this Joker is in hand. Don't miss the next one. And then leave us all waiting with bated breath, because quantity over quality is never going to unseat Hot Toys Throne, especially if the pricing is higher. And so, like, the question that Alvin J asked is, is this going to be the Gandalf that is the definitive edition? If somebody like Zach says no, there are way too many strikes against this figure. Like, they need to almost go back to the drawing board, because if this makes somebody like Zach cancel their order, then what other one is going to incentivize them to pay more in the future? Like, and if these are supposed to be our favorite characters, make them right. Make them the only edition that I ever want to purchase. I don't want to be looking forward to the next Joker. I want this Joker that I'm going to get to be the best version that's possible. Like, make it that way and slow it down a little bit. Quality over quantity is always going to be a better thing, in my opinion, even if that means we have to pay more because they're not making as much money in the
but Hot Toys isn't doing quality over quantity, right? And everybody's on the Hot Toys bandwagon, and the prices are getting extremely pricey as well. When it comes to Hot Toys.
Hot Toys has been in the game a long time, though, so they now have more resources, they have more money, they can stretch their shit further. Well, they've got more production factories, they've got more painters.
I would say re-releases with the Iron Man suits. It doesn't seem like they necessarily have as much money as they would like to have to come in with innovation and create new figures.
Because, I would say,
go ahead, Zach.
I would say Inart isn't really biting off that much. Like, they're developing like 6 figures.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not like a huge number. Like, that doesn't
it is, I think, coming from the bottom.
Because like half of these figures are just rooted versions of the same figure, right? So and it just goes into the research thing, right? Like, there have been questions given to me like about other figures by Inart, and it's just like, I mean, I'll give you my answer as a fan of Lord of the Rings, but I feel like you guys should be making these decisions. Like, why are you asking me these questions? The research level, right? When we first told them there was 2 staffs, they were told that the licensor approved only 1, that there was only 1 in the film. And so we had to go and show them the proof, right? And like John said, beg the community. Now Marvelous says here, streamers who are passionate about the subject matter, you can get a notable collector, but they may not care about the material. To me, it's just it's one thing to make a beautiful figure, but you have to be willing to do the research, right? It may be more difficult to get your hands on the props, maybe more difficult to really decide like, hey, we might have to delay this, but there's so many things with these figures that are just like starting to add up, and it's genuinely concerning.
Where I'm confused though is they showed the topic here is make 1 or 2 figures and then focus on those and release them so that they're the best on the market. They did that with the Joker, right?
No, we just still don't have it in hand though.
Yeah, but
I want to see it in my collection on the shelf. I want to be able to look at that thing and be like, that is the best.
So you said the key. Then we have to before we can talk badly about the Joker, badly about Gandalf, badly about anything. We got to wait till it's in hand. Then, based on that,
necessarily.
We are a weekly news show.
No,
but also they're asking for our
comes.
money right now. If they were like, okay, here we're going to show you this stuff, and then next year you pay us, okay, that's fine. But they were asking for honest money currently for what they're showing us, so I feel like it's fair to rip it apart.
Yeah.
So and you're good to rip it apart. I'm fine with ripping it apart. The whole thing though is where I'm saying is, let's have Inart execute to their best so that their figures are top of the market. But I personally, based on looking at Justin's review and the footage from depending on what con you were looking at, I'm satisfied and do think that this Joker is the best on the market.
I think that Joker might be though. I just think that clearly there's an up and down with these figures that we're seeing though. Like the Joker might be the best one they make, but then why is there seem like there's a quality issue with Gandalf? Why aren't they putting the same amount of love into that figure or the same amount of love into the Bruce Wayne? Like if they wanted to make a Bruce Wayne, why isn't it the best Bruce Wayne? Why is it just like an okay Bruce Wayne?
Well, but you're gonna you're gonna hold Inart to making the best. But that's
what they came out and told us, though, right? Like they want to make the best figures with the best materials.
Well, they're the only company making that Bruce Wayne, licensed Bruce Wayne at least. Well, it is technically the best because it's the only licensed one.
Truly said, what are some examples of Hot Toys faltering in quality? I would say Tony Stank, hot off the rip there. I think there's been other.
What was that one that had the shoulder issue? That clone. What was it?
The Commander Cody.
Commander Cody.
Now, John. Now this photo here, you were a bit concerned as well because this is the pre-order photo on the left and the Inart long time no soiree Thailand photo on the right.
I said from day one, I think this Joker looked a little bit skinny. I said it day one. I don't know if that's how they're executing that perfect look with the coat. Is a skinnier body. It suffers, I think, here. But I do honestly think, and this is where Inart faults, is I do think their presentation was half-assed at certain shows. I don't think they got the right people. They didn't put the right thought into the show, into getting the figures properly set up. Like I said, okay, you went to the Bloody Vegas show. Then at the Thai show, you should have listened to the community feedback. We were telling you should have representation next to these figures so that any streamers, any guests that were there can take appropriate photos. And have a conversation as to what's going on. I don't understand how they can do a show and then leave the show with more unanswered questions than they went with.
Exactly, John.
It makes absolutely no sense. I think it was a fail. But most importantly is if they're going to go to these shows, their statue side did a phenomenal job. But if you're coming into this market, this Inart market, you need to really step up your game. Step up your game because you have people that are clearly willing to spend money. You have people willing to spend the money. You just need to wake up.
John, I'm going to ask you a question. You got 1 minute on the clock.
That was all the points right there.
How do you think Inart is positioned after the U.S. and now Thailand showings?
Okay, I think a little bit of what you said, both aspects. I think that they position themselves in a good position, but I think they've also taken a couple steps back. The figures, when we saw them in Vegas, we were all ecstatic. Lived up to the expectation. I'm not going to say all, but a lot of us said that they lived up to the expectation. The Joker looked great. The rooted hair looked really good on the Joker. The Batman sculpt looked really good as well. And it was well presented in certain aspects. We got some live coverage as well. When they went to Thailand, we look at the Joker, and in certain angles, the Joker looks skinny and the clothes look loose. So I feel like there was no consistency there. So I think that's where they kind of drew back. So I think right now in an environment where you want people to make decisions on jumping on your bandwagon, you got to make sure that there's consistency, and most importantly, maintaining the communication. Can I just keep going regardless of the clock?
Oh yeah.
Do you answer the question?
Do you want to go with your 1 minute here? You got 1 minute uninterrupted.
Oh, my minute's completely off. No, I could go with my minute, but that's something completely off. But yeah, let's do the 1 minute. Might as well.
All right. So John won our hot seat competition last month rather. He gets 1 minute uninterrupted. Let's all mute up, and we'll hear John speak.
Nothing too crazy. So I just want to say, guys, I've been in this hobby for quite some time, and the trends that I'm seeing in the world are scary economically. So as YouTube streamers, our job here is to talk about these awesome figures and stuff like that. And same with the community. There's tons of Facebook groups, but please don't fall into peer pressure. Don't feel like you need to buy every figure, every statue. Right now, the way the world is going economically, think of what comes first. This is a hobby. This is for fun. We get on here, group of guys that love being in this hobby, love communicating with the chat. That's what it's about. It's not about how much money you spend on the hobby. It's about the passion and the conversations you have in the hobby. I'm telling you, I don't know, you guys are in the States, I'm in Canada. State of the world, think before you make a purchase. These collectibles will always be there, especially with hot toys and the sideshow trends and discounts. Everyone's still on mute, so you're clapping.
Really well done.
Great.
Yeah, sorry.
Great
Really
point,
well done. That was good.
Okay,
let's get back here to
we need to let you win more question rounds in the future.
Yeah, we do.
Let you
do that.
Let you. I heard that.
How dare you? Our main topic of tonight, well, we already did that. The Collecting Weekly Figure of the Year Awards. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I had everything done, and the last second I changed the title name. So if you guys are watching at home, there's 100 of you, 100 plus of you guys, hit that scan me button, because I want to know what figures and companies matter the most to you this year in collecting, and I want to ask the panel as well. So we're going to be doing a drawing for a $50 gift card. Depending on how many entries we get, that could go up, but it'll be a bit of fun. So we'll get a bunch of nominations. In December, we'll narrow them down to 5 for each category, and then we'll vote as a community, and whomever wins, they'll get an award, and we'll reach out for a statement that they probably won't respond to. But let's take a look at our form. Let's see. Can I not do that? There we go.
One person says hot toys, I'm leaving.
All right, so let's I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it also in the comments if you guys want to click on that and fill it out live. Again, you'll be entered in to win $50 gift card in December. You get 1 entry for nominating and 1 entry for voting in December. So just generic stuff, first, last name, figures from December 2021 to November 2022. Better change that.
The gift card's just for the listeners, right?
Yeah, you gotta save it for the listeners.
Okay, I didn't want to fill it out and then.
Okay, well you should fill it out though, because I'll take that from you. Okay, so most improved company. So the company between this year and last year that you felt was the most improved. I am really struggling with this one. There's 2 companies that I want to say. I'm gonna say my first one. I'm gonna let you guys go, and then I'm gonna say my second one. But it is a hot fucking take. And I'll actually switch over back to the slide so you guys can grab the QR code if you need it. But my first company I'm going to say is Iconic Studios. Last year, there was a lot of concern because they hadn't released anything yet. They were kind of, I'm going to say all talk, but they were kind of like still getting their stuff together. And this year, they released Ryu, amazing figure. They're right about to release Patrick Bateman late this year, early next year. I think they've also done a great job on the Muhammad Ali bust. I think it came out fantastic. They also got that figure, I think, coming out soon. So I got a lot of respect for what Andy and the team are doing up there at Keyboard Warriors and Iconic. And so that would be my first nomination. I got to think between the two. But Dean, I'm curious, what company has impressed you this year? Most improved, rather.
Most improved. I think last year I had said McFarlane, just on the sheer, especially going from unarticulated to articulated figures, and then just flooding the market and keeping them at $20. And they're still doing that. They're still pushing the envelope, especially with the Avatar line that's coming out. I'm still liking McFarlane, man. They keep pushing the envelope at that $20 price point. Some of the Avatar ones are like $50, but they're huge scale in comparison. So I think I'm still sticking with McFarlane. I still really like what they're doing.
I got to go with Zach, just because my vote was for this company last year, and I think they really did come out and deliver what they promised to deliver, and that is Iconic. I think the attention to detail, coming at literally from nothing, and being able to deliver. They redid that real body. They gave us the photos. They showed us. They're giving us appropriate teasers to get us excited. The Bateman figure as well. Again, really well done. My vote goes to Iconic. And Andrew.
Yeah, I like that Iconic pick. I'm gonna go with So Toys. I had never bought a third-party figure until this year, that Cajun car dealer, and really was impressed once I got it in hand. I'm going to get their Homelander. I don't have a PO secured just yet, but at some point in time, I'm going to get that Homelander. I want that Butcher. They put out so many other cool figures, and I think as long as Hot Toys is overwhelmed by the number of releases and they can't do every figure because there's so many properties, and as long as companies like Star Ace drop the ball on 1/6 figures, I think So-So is going to have like a bigger market share. And I could see them becoming licensed at some point in time, just like Hot Toys started unlicensed and expanded. So really impressed with what I've been seeing with them.
Yeah, So Toys was actually mine as well, Marco, for very many of the same points. Seeing a third-party company do a better Homelander than the actual licensed company version is hilarious when you think about it, and
embarrassing, honestly.
And embarrassing. But amazing for collectors, right? But they've got a lot of examples. The Dick Grayson, the Robin, the Nightwing that they're coming out with, the Cajun car dealer, like tons of really cool figures with fantastic likeness. My first So Toys was the CW Flash, which I think had a better likeness to Grant Gustin and the suit itself than the actual licensed Hot Toys version, which is crazy. So for me, 100%.
So killed it with that Kingpin.
Yeah,
that Kingpin is the one.
Well.
That's almost like
Kingpin.
movie of a figure of the year
insane.
could be almost. Yeah.
Okay, this is a hot, like a nuclear hot take. All right. Dean's just building his figure right now.
X06.
I asked everyone to give full attention to the show, and Dean's just out there.
I'm listening.
I need full attention.
He needs your soul.
You said hot nuclear take. I know.
I think this year. Oh, this is.
Don't say
lose
it.
all the people watch. John, you already know I'm going with this.
Don't say it. I'll leave right now.
I think Sideshow has improved so much as a company this past
year. Get him out of here.
No, you're crazy.
No, fuck
it. Okay, you're building figures. You get the hell out of here. Sideshow has started bringing in literally day one figures, bro. Like, that is unheard of.
Okay.
Not only that, but Spooktacular, the live stream events that they're doing. I racked up $50 and I did literally nothing.
But they don't care because they're a distributor. They don't count.
Come on, that's
Zach, let me tell you something, Zach. Spooktacular, you got a shit ton of points, right? Because their warehouse is at the seams, and their Sideshow Staircase, Staircase. Hold on. Their Sideshow second staircase can't fit any more crap to throw down the staircase.
You're probably not wrong.
But let me just say something.
Not wrong.
Spooktacular, what the fuck do we... Oh, sorry. What the hell did we get as releases?
Anakin, Obi-Wan from Clone Wars, and they're terrible.
Well,
No, but like
to be
even on the
fair,
statue side,
for
nada.
Spooktacular, it's always about they used to do some reveals, but lately it's for the last like 3 or 4 years, it's been all about like games and live shows. Their games are fun. They made a whole ass app, to play this fun little game, which I thought was really fun.
That
and
didn't work
I
on
enjoyed it.
Android the first night, and it was a mess.
To be fair, that's
hey, it's your
their
vote.
Android. But I'm just saying, we used to be like 4 to 6 months behind Hot Toys Hong Kong releases. We're getting them like a day later, sometimes same day, sometimes even before Hong Kong. That is huge.
But that's
But is that
also not
Sideshow
to
or Hot
benefit
Toys?
You.
Yeah.
That's
how is that not to benefit me? What are you
because
talking
they
about?
want your money. They don't want you going to Tim Cent. They're like,
Yeah,
"You
and I want my fucking
send
figure
our
early.
shit
How
right
does that not
now."
benefit me? I'd much rather have my figure today than 6 months from now. Come on.
I'm
It's
just saying,
foolishness,
like
Dean.
bottom
Absolute
end,
foolishness.
it's for their own good, so you don't. spend
Obviously,
your money
they're a
elsewhere.
business, but I'm also in the business of getting figures not 6 months down the line.
See, Sideshow, you break up friendships. You hate this.
Company of the year. Now, this is overall company. So the first category is most improved between last year and this year. This is just most company of the year, like just with everything. I gotta say, McFarlane, bro. In a year where Hasbro started off the year telling us that their newest wave of Black Series figures would not be on shelves till Q1, Q2, 23, and you had McFarlane shipping whole ass fucking racks of figures to Walmart. Every time I go down the toy aisle at Walmart, the only figures that are fully stacked up with the newest waves is McFarlane. And I don't think their figures are the best, but I certainly think they're giving people the most bang for their buck. They have a huge variety of lines. They just got into the Avatar stuff, which looks fucking incredible. They got the DC stuff, which they're doing a lot of really good work there. They have all kinds of different scales, different price points. They're trying to do 1/6 scale or 1/12 scale vehicles now. I've kind of heard the rumblings that they kind of want to get into that. But I got to say, McFarlane would be my company of the year thus far. Thanks, Marvelous. Have a good rest of your night.
See ya. Yeah, I'm sticking with McFarlane because, I mean, they'll announce a wave, and within like it almost seems like record-breaking time that wave will hit the store. I'm like, holy shit! They just announced that on. There's a channel I watched. I'm like, holy shit! They just talked about that, and it's here already. Picking up new licenses. He's picking up Seven Deadly Sins, which is an anime. The Avatar line, he's not stopping. He keeps pumping out Mortal Kombat figures. Like, they're crushing it. And again, the $20 price point is insane. So I love to see it.
I don't know who to vote for here yet. I think it's tough. I also think it's tough to compare, let's say, Hasbro and McFarlane to, let's say, a 6 scale company like Inart or Hot Toys or Iconic. I'm gonna skip this one. This one's hard.
I respect that.
Like at the end of the day, like Hot Toys, as much as I shit on them, they're still king in the 6 scale market. Right? No matter, we talk about business practice, lack of communication, and so forth. When we're talking 6 scale market, they're really the only licensed. Let me verify that licensed. They're really the only contenders that we've really gone in hand figures, and you get a variety of an assortment. But at the same time, they're not really innovating. Are they really going after? Well, they have the majority of the licenses. I don't know. I'm torn. Skip me on this one, please.
All right, so I think Hot Toys is the answer for me, but I'm gonna throw out another one. I think, in Zach, this doesn't have to be 1/6, correct? This is any company all around.
Company.
Obviously, Dean had a different take. I think Queen Studios, so not Inart, but Queen Studios. I think they put out some fantastic pieces. I've seen some of them in person and was like really blown away by like their busts. A lot of things that I wouldn't even add to my collection. That Nightmare Batman really caught my eye. The Cap, I think they're putting them at like some really competitive prices as well, enough for someone who doesn't collect statues to really be tempted. So yeah, I think I'm really, really impressed by what they're doing. And obviously they've got some great licenses, so they're going to continue to hopefully crush it.
Well, if we're talking statues, then that's easy.
So I'd say it's funny that Marco and I think so much alike, because I agree with you in so many ways. I think some honorable mentions. Mondo Toys have put out some really cool stuff this year. I loved the Batman the Animated Series figures that they've got out. I'm excited to see what they do with the rest of that line, as well as He-Man and Battle Cat that timed window just finished today. The Battle Cat's insane also. It's like the size of a house cat. It's actually crazy. Another honorable mention I think is Exo 6. Jokes aside, I know you guys don't love Star Trek, but I know for Star Trek fans and the Star Trek community that I interact with a lot, Exo 6 has been like a delivery of amazing for us. I have the data, the First Contact data behind me. It's easily one of my favorite figures in my collection. I know that they've had some kind of spotty releases, at least in terms of likeness from my perspective, but I know, as I said, for Star Trek collectors and that Star Trek community, that's been the company that they've been talking about all year. But otherwise, I would say in terms of company of the year, I do agree with Marco. I think Queen Studios / Inart has been on the tips of pretty much everybody's tongue all year, whether it's talking about the quality of their statues or their foray into the 6-scale realm. If the Joker comes out as well as Justin's video portrayed, I think it is a contender for the best figure of the year. And so, but again, just Queen Studios and Inart has lit the community on fire this year. It's we've talked about it in almost every stream that I can think of, because otherwise I would say Hot Toys is still otherwise kind of up there with the king. So Queen Studios would be currently my pick for that one.
All right, so our next category is Best Portrait. This one I kind of struggled with, to be completely honest. I had two that kind of stuck out to me, but I really need to re-review everything that came out this year. So the first one was Boba Fett on Throne. I think that portrait is stunning, to be completely honest. I think it's a great likeness to Tamora Morrison from the live action shows. And the second one is kind of a newer release, but it's kind of been really impressing me. The Bela Lugosi Dracula. It's a really well done figure. It's by Caustic Plastic, a bit pricey, and maybe not an actor that's super familiar to everybody, but I think they did a great job on that figure. And which is surprising because I think great portraits. I don't necessarily think Caustic Plastic, given my experience with this in the past. But that's kind of where I'm at for best portrait.
I mean, the easy thing to say is the Joker by Inart. But you're right. There are a bunch of hidden gems out there that I'd have to go back and revisit each release. Yeah, but I guess if I had to answer right this second, the Inart Joker.
No, this can be like not in hand yet. Like this can be like
it should be released by the end of November.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then
that's kind of why I didn't put Joker, because it technically may not release in that time frame. But
and it's figures, no statues.
That's correct.
Yeah, it would be the Hot Toys Boba that you mentioned, but if we can say it, primarily it's going to be the Inart Joker, hands down. Everyone's on mute.
Marco, you're on mute, or Ben, you're on mute.
I thought it was off mute. I said, Marco, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, so for me, I think the Mark 85 battle damage is probably the strongest sculpt that I've added. Obviously with the whole debacle of the Tony Stank, I think that there are some repurposed aspects of that Tony Stank sculpt from what I've seen, and they've managed to turn around a really, really strong Robert Downey Jr., timeless, absolute classic moment that they've captured. So I think that's one, because, there's been so many releases. That one's a bit under the radar. There've been so many Iron Men, but that is a truly impressive sculpt to me.
So I'd written down the Inart Joker, so it's funny that was the easy answer, as Dean would put it. But I said on another stream the other day in terms of Hot Toys, I agreed. I thought the Boba on Throne was a really cool release. Not only is the Throne really impressive to look at, I think it's going to be a great centerpiece in most people's collections. But that head sculpt is insane for Tamora Morrison. Alternatively, I also think that the Snowspeeder Luke this year that came out is an absolutely beautiful figure. That's one that I'm working towards getting in my own collection. I think the weathering on the outfit looks fantastic. Everything he comes with is really, really cool. And I still think it's a great representation of Mark Hamill in terms of his likeness, even though I would say it's probably not perfect. I think 99% of people would look at that and be like, that is Mark Hamill in the Snowspeeder outfit. So very, very cool figure, and I think may end up being underrated down the line. But we'll see.
I forgot how good that Luke portrait was, to be honest. Our next category is Best 1/6 Scale Third Party Figure. This one's a bit... I don't know if people are going to love this pick, but I think it really, truly was, outside of how this figure came to be, I think it was the best third-party release I've seen in a long time. But I'm going to go Present Toys Indiana Jones. I think there's a lot of controversy how that sculpt came to be. I'm not really here to discuss that. But I think just as a figure, I think it's a real quality piece. It was such that it created quite a frenzy on quite a few different websites, people trying to purchase it, limited stock kind of deal, truly limited as it were. And it was such a hyped figure that Present Toys had to basically like make a second batch, which, I didn't particularly love that. But I think that was the best third party release this year. Now Payton23 says Reva's head sculpt has a case for the best reveal this year. I want to clarify, this is actually released in the sense like people have it in their collections. They've, it's released to the public. So we're not going off of things that are in pre-order. And then to Badfish, this will close, I think it was December 29th or November 29th. Sorry. November 29th.
Yeah. Third party Game Toys Cloud.
That was fast.
That figure's fucking insane. And if I'll have to double check when he came out, but I'm pretty sure it was this year. But if not him, the Game Toys Zach, because he just came out. So
I'm not really into too much of the third party game, but I think from what I've seen, I try to still stay on top of it. Ramblings in the community. I really like the So Toys Kingpin from the show. I think they did the D'Onofrio rendition. I think they really knocked it out of the park with that figure. That could pass as a licensed figure in my opinion, easily. Oh, Patton, good taste, buddy.
Yeah, So Kingpin for me as well. That's what I had down. It's amazing. John nailed it, 100%.
Yeah, for me, it's the Cajun car dealer, as I mentioned earlier. Just a beautiful figure, and I'm hoping they go a lot more down that X-Men line. I know we should be getting a Rogue soon, so yeah, it just turned out so beautifully. So. I know, right? Come on, that's just 100%. A gold mine for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially with that animated series coming back here,
it's going to be
so
cool.
Gotta give us more.
Now, we do have two more categories, but I'm going to shorten it down to one. The Figure of the Year category, or Release of the Year, rather, could be other things. And we also have other categories like 1/12, Best Under 35, Best Statue. So John will be covering the Best Statue stuff, and then Small Talk on Thursdays will be covering the smaller figures. But our last category is Best Licensed 1/6 Scale Figure released this year. My vote, without any hesitation, is the Hot Toys Spider-Verse Miles Morales. I think a figure that took way too fucking long to come out, but man, it is a stunning piece. It's the only, honestly, like I haven't been particularly excited about collecting Hot Toys this year, but it's one of the few figures that I've seen that I can't stop thinking about, and will be in my collection before the end of the year. So that'd be my vote. I've seen it in person. It's a beautiful figure, and can't wait to own one.
I was meant to ask you about that, Zach. Have you changed your stance on that? I thought for some reason that you felt like you weren't all that impressed by that Miles at one point.
I wasn't until I saw it in person, to be honest.
That's what sold
it looked real good in person. I wasn't really sure like how the little skin sleeve things would look and how the portrait would look. Boy, seeing that in person, Stevens Collectibles, it has one of those collector-friendly boxes where we didn't open it, but like you could kind of slide the little thing out of the it was still behind plastic, but I was able to get a good enough look at it. And then just how beautiful that diorama looks. You know, usually those are pretty shitty, and I never open those, but I've seen a few collectors that have put theirs on display, and yeah, it looks just stunning. So yeah, that's I've really completely 180'd on that, like Ben said from earlier this year.
Plus, he should be 30% pretty soon, so 30% off pretty soon.
Bro, if he's 30% for Black Friday and they let you put it on a payment plan,
He's buying us all one.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think it'll
be, yeah, I'm swooping, bro. I'm swooping. I got $50 in rewards from playing that stupid ass Sideshow game. I'm ready, bro.
I think a criminally underrated figure this year is Lando Calrissian. The head sculpt is great. The tailoring of the outfit is great. It's not very expensive. I think it's on sale right now. Or Snowspeeder Luke.
You took it, you bastard.
Yeah, either one of those. I honestly really want to say Ahsoka, only because she's such a like iconic character.
Yeah.
But I feel like she wasn't very well received. Which again, the Lando I think wasn't very well received either. And that
Yep, I don't know why. It was beautiful. It was. I was shocked.
Yeah, and I think once it's gone, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, but it's like they can't even give it away for free. I don't understand.
I know.
It's a shame.
I'm hoping to pick one up in the next few weeks because I really want that Lando. The only reason I haven't gotten it yet is because I've focused most of my collection on A New Hope. And obviously he's not in that movie. But I have Boba Fett, I have Bespin Luke. I could definitely futz in Orlando, so that's kind of why I've been waiting. But yeah.
I want to say the Inart Joker. It's not in hand yet, so we'll be fair. I'll be fair. I'll give it to the Hot Toy Snow Speeder Luke. Almost got me back into picking up Hot Toys. Almost. I was so close. But obviously there's no rush. Yeah, I really like that one. I like what they did. We did the unboxing with Danny as well. And yeah, overall, I'm just really happy. The details on the helmet and the outfit, it just everything came together well. That would take my vote.
Just quickly here, Mr. Musashi. Cajun Car Dealer was Marco's pick for best third party.
Yeah, so. What show are you watching, bro? I'm curious.
How dare you, Mr. Musashi?
All right, so I'll jump in here while Ben unmutes. Ben, do you want to go first?
No, I was trying to find my selection. You go ahead.
All right, so mine is the Damn Toys Vito Corleone, specifically the more classic version, not the Golden Years version. The price point that it was at, I believe $250 was the retail on it. The amount of accessories it comes with, 2 head sculpts, you know, the tailoring's really beautiful. Everything about the figure is really, really great. And so I think they're setting a nice benchmark, and I hope to see them get more properties as well. I know their Resident Evil figures have not impressed me from what I've seen, but because this release was so strong, I'm tempted to, you know, swoop one of those up to, and they were a little bit pricier too, but yeah, they have so many great accessories that it's definitely a company I'm looking out for in the future.
Good.
Definitely. So, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, no worries. I'll make it quick. I almost said Miles Morales as well, and I almost said Snowspeeder Luke because I called it out earlier. One that I forgot about though was the Justice League Batman and Black Suited Superman 2-pack. That is a wicked release. Seeing the folks who have that in hand, I am extremely jealous, especially the Black Suited Superman. I think that looks absolutely badass. I'd originally had that guy in my basket. And I had canceled it because I was worried about shipping, and now I'm kicking myself for it a little bit because I think it will be a very cool and sought-after release, especially in the future. But otherwise, if I had to just pick one single figure, I agree with you, Zach. I think the Miles Morales is going to take it for the year.
Definitely. We got 7 people that have entered so far, 85 people in the chat. If you guys want a chance to win a $50 gift card wherever you buy your 1/6 scale figures, be sure to enter in. You have until November 29th. Let me run through a few hot seats here. I think I have to get a few of you guys. Let's pull that timer up. Dean is coming to you, buddy. Let's see what I have prepped for Dean the Dream. With the holiday season around the corner, many companies will begin shutting down over the next few weeks. What licenses do you think were underutilized this year?
Okay, only because this hits so fucking close to home. Macross and Robotech, Harmony Gold and Big West finally agreed to work together, and we haven't seen jack shit. The only figures that we've been coming out have been reissues of like older ships that they just like repurpose, some old Shigokins from like Macross Plus and stuff, or recolors of SDF Macross figures. The 3-0 ones have yet to see anything from them. They just have a couple like concepts that they've shown, but Robotech / SDF Macross and Macross, now that it has global freedom to be sold anywhere, completely underutilized. It's absolute travesty. I want to see some shit next year.
Very well done. Let me tabulate your points here. Let's do that right there. Ben, for you, let's see what we got here. In your opinion, what innovations made in our hobby this year? Jesus, Ben. Do you think will have the biggest impact going forward?
Innovations this year. I think the magnetic bases that Inart has shown with their figures are going to be a huge next step in the direction of collectible bases. I think for the collectors who don't like the look of a figure stand or a dynamic flight pull up the butt of a figure, I think having that magnetic base is going to change the way the display game looks in your collection. I also think it's going to help with stability. There are different parts in the world that have different climates, earthquakes, all the stuff. Your cats bumping into your displays, your children bumping into your displays. We've all been there. Magnetic workmanship, I think, is going to change it. Alternatively, I do think USB technology is on the way to rechargeable batteries, and I think that if we adopt the USB, hopefully we'll eventually see rechargeable batteries in the figures and not necessarily a cord dangling out, again, the ass of your beautiful 1/6 scale collections.
Very good. All tied up at 2 apiece today, gentlemen. Well done in the hot seat. Coming out strong for week 1.
I'm sweating. It is hot.
Let's switch slides here. Appreciate everyone for staying tuned in with us. And again, be sure to enter and to win. We'll be plugging this every week until the end of the year. Mars Attacks is our movie of the week. A fleet of Martian spacecraft surrounds the world's major cities, and all of humanity waits to see if the extraterrestrial visitors have, as they claim, come in peace. U.S. President James Dale Jack Nicholson receives assurance from scientific professor Donald Kessler, Pierce Brosnan, that the Martians' mission is a friendly one, but when a peaceful exchange ends in the total annihilation of the U.S. Congress, military men call for a full-scale nuclear retaliation. I like this movie. Look at this. Luke says, holler if you hear me. This is a good movie. Certainly not the biggest budget film, if we're being completely honest. The special effects here are rough. But I think that's kind of part of the charm, right? You're not getting like a Spielberg era quality of a film. Hot Toys has made some great classic, highly sought after grails from this movie. I've only seen them sold once, and it was bought and sold by the same guy, and then he bought it again. But yeah, this movie is okay. It's not the best film. Definitely some iconic, the cack stuff, like, you know, kind of a weird alien design. But I would say for movies, I give this like a 6 out of 10. You know, it's put it on in the background. It's no Nope. I'll tell you that. It's no Nope.
Shut off your brain sort of thing.
Yeah, just kind of, you watch it, it goes in one eye, out the other, as they say. And, yeah. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, so I remember telling y'all, like, I had never seen this movie. And I was really not excited to watch it, but like you said, Zach, when those Hot Toys pop up, they go very quickly, and they're pretty sought after. So I was like, there's got to be something to this movie, right? Pretty impressive cast, not going to lie. But when it got to the scene where they how they defeat the aliens. I won't say what it is. I was like, I've seen this before. I must have watched it when I was. What year did this movie come out?
96.
96.
Okay, I was 7, I guess. So I guess like whenever it came out on VHS, I was like 7 or 8. So it's probably been that long since I've seen it, but I distinctly remember that. And it terrified me. I remember I'm never watching this again, and I haven't. So that's pretty crazy to like be reminded like, oh, I did see this before. Like Zach said, it's not winning any awards in my book. I don't know if it actually won awards, but it's it's very campy, and I guess that's kind of the charm, right? It doesn't. Good movies don't have to be fucking Interstellar or whatever to really leave an impression. And apparently this one left an impression on a 7 or 8 year old me. So take with that what you will. It is what it is.
6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 56% Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, this was like when I was growing up, the Alien movie to watch. It was fun. I didn't really like watching it now again because it's reinvigorated the want for those hot toys. Damn, and no, I don't want no 2.0s. What I would like to see is they, again, like you said, Dean, the cast, Pierce Brosnan, Jack Nicholson, like A-listers. It was fun. Shut off your brain. The Lady Martians remind me of fembots from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
100%.
But it was cool. I like the outfit. Like, this is why I grew up with Alien movie. I still say it's one of the best, like, shut off your brain Alien movies. Just enjoy films. Like, I'm not too much into the sci-fi stuff, but I still enjoy watching this once in a while. So this was a good pick, whoever picked it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this one, for me, just don't love it. This is my second time seeing it, once from when I was younger, and then this is my first time watching it as an adult. Sorry, there's a moth over here in front of my face. Everything from the cast to the design of the creatures to kind of the tone that they're going for, it should jive with me, but there's just something that's off. I think just the writing isn't particularly strong, in my opinion, and the movie just doesn't come together as a cohesive whole, for me overall. So just really like disappointed with this movie because it could have been so much. I enjoy that it's a thing, but it really could have been so much better. So I think if you're thinking about watching this, just watch Independence Day instead. A much better alien movie with some humorous moments. But overall, it was a good pick, Ben. It was a good trip down memory lane.
It's funny you mentioned Independence Day because I was going to do the same. I used to watch Mars Attacks, and then I would watch Independence Day for the more serious take on alien invasion. I think something that I always loved about this movie was thinking about like the what if concept of like, what if Martians came down to Earth? Like, what could that look like? We always hope for more of like a peaceful exchange, but we then have all these movies about aliens wiping us out. And at first, you're like, maybe this will be peaceful. Then they had to release the doves. The doves fucked it right up, So Martians don't like doves. Note to self, So, but I love the actors in this film. I love that it's kind of campy. I like that it's something that you can put on in the background and not take too seriously. Or if you want to just turn off your brain, it's a little bit of fun. Jack Nicholson is very Jack Nicholson in this movie. It makes me laugh. I love that he's also the casino owner, like with the long blonde hair under the cowboy hat. But they don't like it and the president. He's like two completely different characters in the movie, but he's still so Jack Nicholson that it's hard not to notice. And I used to love Pierce Brosnan. For me, Pierce and Sean Connery are my two favorite Bonds. So anytime I saw Pierce Brosnan in a movie, I'd get pretty amped up. One of the reasons I was excited even to see him in Black Adam. So for this film, if I was going to rate it, I'd probably only give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's definitely not like an award-winning movie by any stretch, but it's super fun. If you've never seen it before, I would recommend it. And like I like the way it ends. The song that they play to blow all their brains out. My grandma used to play that song in her house all the time, and the little old lady reminds me of my grandma. So I'm like, I don't know, it hits the right chords for me for sure. So but you're right, Independence Day is a better movie. I won't say yes or no. What's here so now?
Our movie of the week for next week is The Foreigner. It's on Netflix, starring Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, nice.
I'd love to see it.
I thought you were going to bring Danny on.
Dean, let's Jesus Christ, let's thank these sweet angels that keep the network going.
Yeah, the three pillars, as John calls them.
Wow.
Can you bring up your
a little
game?
more
You're real
enthusiasm, Dean?
Talk louder or something.
I was going to say as Kanye calls them.
Wow.
Wow.
You're gonna get
What you
canceled.
just said about
Bye.
sweet Danny Lee.
I miss Danny. He wasn't in the chat today. Where is he? I feel like I haven't seen him in ages.
What the fuck? Yeah, give a quick shout out to Sean Fear, Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valen, Serena, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, sweet, beautiful, handsome Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krepp, Big Old Fern, King Zach, Caesar Merriquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tukathri, Watt, Derek B., Aries Portillo, Pablo Meza, Carlos Saavedra, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC, 3PO, Scott Smith, Don, Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Noise. What a bunch of angels.
Our Patreon benefits for October have shipped. I think there's actually one more I need to ship. So D-Rock, if you're listening, I'll need to ship yours still. So stay tuned for that.
Shout out to him.
Does Anybody Work sticker and the Halloween Dean sticker. November Patreon benefits are the Philo sticker and the New This Week sticker. We're going to be changing up Patreon a bit over the next few months. So if you're a Patreon member, we'll talk about it with you guys in the chat. We'll probably be switching to bi-monthly shipping to cut down on costs because, boy, shipping is like up crazy amongst a few other changes. So we'll talk with you guys about that and see if we can't keep everyone on board. But for now, Sweet Angel starts at $5 a month. Sticker sent straight to your door and access to the Ox After Dark library. Certified Crispy at $15 a month. Figure Fix Assistance and the Certified Crispy Certificate. The What a Guy tier, which is the exclusive Pog Deluxe set on your first pledge and doubles of all the stickers we send. Here's a look at our YouTube channel members. We got Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Gist, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Crispy, Big Ol' Fern, OG Fan, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Money Mendez, Sia Dreams, JC, Sia, and B Chan. YouTube membership starts at 99 cents if you're a member of our Patreon, or $2.99 if you are not. Here's a look at the network. We have After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. I want to say OFAC Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Collectors Club on Friday. Be sure to tune in for all of that with these sweet angels. TeePublic stuff goes on sale basically all the time. Buy when it's on sale is my recommendation. And our socials, John, can we go and plug those, please?
Facebook, we got Collecting Weekly. We have our main group, Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. On Instagram, at Collecting Weekly _clips, and at the _everyday_collector.
Thank you very much. Shout out time. I wanted to give a shout out to the people of Auxiliary. I entered in a painting competition and a bunch of you guys came through for me. I don't know if I've won yet, but based on their voting system, I should win. But it's interesting because I have a lot of friends. Yes.
Go on, sorry. I wanted to say something. But
I have a lot of friends in my life before I started collecting, and I put a post on my Facebook and I said, hey, if you guys could help me win this competition, please do. Only one of my real life friends outside of collecting did it. Bro, meanwhile, Oxfam fucking came through. Dude. And we avalanched.
So yeah, I went to vote and you had, I don't know, 30 votes over everyone else when I went to vote. And I was like, oh, Zach's got this in the bag. But I was like, I want to see what the other competition looks like. Maybe I don't want to vote for Zach.
What the fuck?
I would. I'm just kidding. So I clicked through. I think you were up against what, like 4 or 5 other people?
Yeah.
They have like 8 likes, 6 likes, whatever. Each one of them, Mark Pearson liked it. I was like, Mark,
I don't
this
think
is
Mark
not...
understood how the contest works.
Yeah,
He wouldn't.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, Mark, that's not the...
Speaking about Mark, how about that call he made today? Like half an hour.
She's
the
like
damn
a
phone was
45-minute
ringing.
call. His phone must have been burning his ass. So shout out to you guys because it really goes to show how, like, the fucked up thing to me is when all my friends have businesses, I'll buy from their businesses or share their pages or like, hey, I invited you to like my brand new Scentsy store. I'll like it and like humor them. And I just asked for a simple like or a simple share. And only one of these 1,000 motherfuckers did it. So fuck you guys. I'm all in with the collecting bros. But I do have one more favor for the collecting bros. My wife on her Instagram is like 6 followers away from 700. So if you guys don't mind following her, that'd be really great. I know pretty much everyone here does. But drop the link there in YouTube for you. It's Victoria Tunes with 3 A's. It would be much appreciated because she's been working hard on her art. But yeah, I think we won the contest. I have another painting contest on November 12th, so I'm very excited for that. And hopefully I'll be doing some video stuff on the channel for how we've painted and built everything. I did want to say this earlier, but I totally forgot. But when the Inart Gandalf does come out, I will be finding someone or even just purchasing out of my own pocket a stock Asmus portrait to make my figure back to stock so I can do a straight futzed comparison to both. So stay tuned for that. That'll be... a really long and detailed video that probably 10 of people will enjoy, but it'll be there. But yeah, do you guys have any shout outs that you would like to give?
I do. 2 quick ones. So we had Marvelous in the chat today.
Oh yeah, really nice lady.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out her channel, I definitely recommend it. She's got some great content. She's been kind of making the rounds on a couple different live streams if you want to see her take. But it's always nice to have a female perspective in the collecting community, especially. Very dominated by men, it seems like. And knows her stuff, which is important, obviously, to collectors, right? So check that out, Marvelous. And then second shout out is actually to Collecting Weekly and then Marco specifically. I am 4 subs away from 600 on YouTube.
Wow.
When I got started, I thought 30 was going to be my max, and so
I got a specific shout out. Fuck.
But yeah, so I mean, but no, I mean, you guys like Collecting Weekly and Marco gave me a platform to be able to come on, talk about figures, make some friends, and get to know the community. And if it wasn't for you guys, I would not be where I'm at. So thank you to all you guys and all the lovely people in the chat who have helped me get that close to 600. It's crazy.
Proud of you, Ben. And anytime you need a platform to come on, you just let me know. Happy for you to come on the platform.
Yeah, if you want to come on me or come on Dean, or
oh my god,
wait,
you've taken it too
if
far,
you're looking
man.
for things to come on, like
you got too far.
I thought that's where you're going with that.
You can't offer up me.
That is what I thought.
Well,
you were,
Dean's like,
the hell? Oh my god, no way.
No, I didn't say that.
yeah.
wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
I went sideways quick. I apologize, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyways, anyone have any shout outs? Anyone else have anything?
Yeah, shout out Will Fox Vacation. He invited me on his show on Sunday, and I couldn't make it, and I was very bummed. But he's such a sweetheart. Also, shout out Cece. She invited me to go on her show tonight after the new episode of Andor over on the Rogue 16 channel.
Are you gonna actually show up this time?
Yeah, I was. Hold on, let me tell the story.
Shit.
She invited me last week and the week before that, and I was like, "Yeah, totally. I will be there. I will see you tonight." And I ended up just hanging out with my sister, and we were like having fun watching like YouTube videos and laughing. And then next thing I know, Zach messages me like, "Yo, are you on the way?" And I was like, "Oh fuck! I didn't even watch Andor. We've been having so much fun." So I didn't get to go on the show. But I got to spend some quality time with my sister, and you can never really do that too much. So I did apologize, and she did invite me even after I let her down. So what a sweetheart. But I'll be there tonight. I set an alarm to remind me to watch Andor.
You're trying to swoon this lovely lady, and you're not showing up. You're not being consistent. You're not being thoughtful.
Well, you gotta, you throw the line out with some bait. You don't just, let the fish have it. You gotta
Gotta
Cece
wiggle the
was in
worm,
the
as they
chat.
say.
She was in the chat at the beginning of the show, but I think we missed it. Like, you literally cut off right before she joined, so she was here. We missed it.
What a sweetheart.
To see it.
Anyways, a lot of people in the show tonight. A lot of lively comments. We love to see it. It's means a lot. And
get your votes in.
Get your votes in. I voted for Biden again. Just kidding. What? Anyways,
I did actually go vote.
Really? Good
Yeah,
for you.
early
Usually don't
voting.
vote.
I vote every time. What are you talking about?
Your votes don't
you
count, though,
don't.
right?
Oh,
You
mine
don't.
do.
You're
Or
a
did they get
felon.
lost
You
in the
can't
mail?
vote.
No, find it in a river or something.
No, I always do early voting because fuck waiting in line. Early voting. If you guys can vote, go vote.
Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.